Hello, they call me SVJ, and today I brought my Lamborghini SVJ to show you. Why did I get this car? The journey to it was quite funny because before the Aventador, I had a Lamborghini Huracan. Some of you might still remember it, and actually, I had known about the SVJ all along, even when it was first introduced. For me, it was kind of a goal I thought I would never reach. There's a funny story behind it. I wanted to sell the Huracan and was browsing the internet looking for options to buy this car. But since it's a limited edition, there weren't many possibilities. And then I got a call from the Lamborghini showroom in Prague, and they said, "Hey, don't you want to come and take a look? We have one yellow that might interest you." I thought, I don't know, I don't want a yellow Lambo. But then I went there, saw it, and it was love at first sight. I think within 2 or 3 days, I transferred the money, and within 5 days, I was driving it home. The Lamborghini SVJ, which stands for Super Veloce Jota, is essentially the top model of the Aventador line. It comes with several improvements compared to the previous SV model or the classic S model. The most obvious are the improvements in aerodynamics and downforce, a different wing, and basically it's powered by a 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 engine with 770 horsepower as standard. And as some of you might know, I spiced it up with a new exhaust system. So now we're around 850 horsepower with a weight of about 1,570 kilograms. It's all-wheel drive, but it doesn't really behave like an all-wheel drive. Can I describe my first drive? Absolutely. The first drive, of course, was naturally from the showroom home. I already had some experience with the Aventador, so things like the size of the car or estimating space weren't an issue. But, of course, it's a limited edition. And as we all know, when any true petrol head gets their new car, they treat it like their baby. So I drove like a complete beginner in a driving school because I was so careful. The drive from the showroom to my house usually takes 6 minutes, but this time it took me about 25 minutes. As for the handling or how to approach driving this car, of course, this is just my opinion. Some may agree, some may not. But as I've described the Huracan before, it was a car that was, of course, very fast, very powerful, and very smooth. Everything worked. The transmission, the brakes, steering. It was an absolutely precise car. The Aventador is no exception. Of course, its single clutch transmission is brutal and adds to the overall raw feeling of the car. Otherwise, the car is fantastic. It behaves very mildly, but just a tap on the gas pedal and it turns into a total beast. Sure, every car or model, whether it's a Huracan or Aventador, has its own emotions that it projects onto the owner. I see it as my royal moment every time there's an opportunity to drive it. The Huracan had its soul, and the Aventador has its own. I must say, with the Huracan, it felt like it was a car that kind of merged with your body, and you felt really in control, like it was a very driver-friendly car. The Aventador surprised me every time I take it out because it has a mind of its own. It doesn't give anything for free and does not forgive mistakes, so it's definitely a challenge for me. As for my favorite moments with this car over the 4 years I've had it, I've been to various events with car enthusiasts and participated in several events, both big and small. But for me, the most important thing is that people and the fans love the car and that it brings them joy. but that's a general observation. One specific memory I have with this car was at a car event here in Prague. The car was behind a fence, and this young boy came up to me with a drawing he made of the car. I don't have that drawing with me right now, it's actually framed in my office, but that's a moment I often think about. Have I thought about buying a different Lamborghini? Honestly, yes, many times. When I was buying the Huracan, there were quite a few cars available on the market, but I choose based on my feelings and the criteria I had. I liked the car for its specifications, but of course over time I thought maybe a Huracan Performante would satisfy my desire for a more sporty car. As for other models, definitely the Urus, but that's a completely different category of car. That's still in my mind. I haven't ruled out that possibility, so it might still happen. In regards to the higher models, the Aventador was always close to my heart. As for cars like the Sian or Countach, I like them, but I probably wouldn't want them. I have to say, when I pull up somewhere, I've gotten used to it. I see it every day, so it doesn't strike me as much. But a few months ago, I went out with it for a small errand and I parked in a regular parking lot among hundreds of cars. Even though I'm used to it, as I was walking back, I thought, man, this thing looks like it came from outer space. That's the feeling it gives me. It's close to my heart because, as I said, I don't have specific style for cars, but I prefer sharp edges over round shapes. As for future modifications, not on this car, no. I wouldn't want to change the concept of what they came up with in Italy. For me, the car is perfect as it is. And since I plan to keep it forever, I'm certain I'll never sell it. It's a very sentimental thing for me. I believe only 900 of these were made. A number of them are already in the scrapyard, so yeah, it's a limited edition. Over the time I've had it, its value has increased significantly. But more importantly, I've developed a personal connection with it. I just can't imagine selling it, so no, it's staying with me.